ghouls and ghosties, and welcome to yet another episode of Haunt Hunting. In fact, this is episode 8. I actually had to check my last upload because I was like, there's no way that's right, but it is. It's Haunt Hunt number 8, and it's actually the 18th of August today. Today we are starting off the Haunt Hunt with a very, very familiar stop, and that is my local HomeGoods. I actually wasn't really going to do any stops today, but I do have some grocery shopping to do, and this is right next door to the grocery shopping, so I was like, okay, well, I gotta run in. I feel like I haven't been there for a hot minute, maybe almost a week, maybe a little less than a week, which is like HomeGoods withdrawals for me. I'm starting to get the shakes, the spooky shakes. I need to get back to HomeGoods. So of course I'm gonna also stop at Marshall's then. As I've said in the past couple Haunt Hunt episodes, it seems as though Marshall's and TJ Maxx are kind of picking up the pace with putting out Halloween stuff as HomeGoods is kind of slowing down their pace. Though there is always a decent amount of slow trickle out last minute, later in the season Halloween stuff that HomeGoods should still be adding out, like new stuff that we haven't seen yet. So that's really the stuff that I'm going to be looking for the hardest. I just had a thought as well. So my grocery shopping is at Target, which is right next to HomeGoods. I'm gonna see if Threshold is out yet. I do not know, and I will find out. I have seen that there's a few Threshold candles in Target, and that's all I've seen so far. I mean, there's some fall and Halloween snacks and candies and foods, but I usually don't really show those too much. But I've seen that there are a few candles, and I haven't really shown those because it's just the jar that has a skull on it. It's not a shaped one or anything like that. We will see if anything new is out there. I think I've actually seen maybe one post with Threshold. I guess I don't know if they ordered it online or actually saw it in person. So we will have to look and find out. Do some creeping and crawling around Target to see what they have. Otherwise, for today, that is all the haunt hunting we're doing. But tomorrow on Tuesday, though, as you guys know, is usually kind of my bigger haunt hunt day. I just have a lot more time that I can devote to doing that. I would like to do some stops, and I just thought of something. So I'm thinking I might be filming Halloween 2 at some point this week, probably later in the week. It's not going to go up until the first Friday in September, but there were a couple things I was waiting on to be sure I had or knew I wasn't going to get before I did Halloween 2, and one of those things is the mirror, the Don't Look Behind You mirror from Pottery Barn that we ordered together at the end of last Haunt Hunt, and the other thing is the skull fountain from At Home. Now, this past weekend, Ryan's mom and sister visited, and they live down in Iowa, where they have a much nicer and faster to add inventory At Home store. And Ryan's mom, Janet, was an icon and a legend, and she was able to nab me one of the skull fountains. I checked their At Home website, and I saw that they had one, so I did a store pickup. It got fulfilled. She picked it up, and she brought it up. So I will be showing you guys the skull fountain. I do have the box in my garage right now. It is confirmed that it is in my ownership, but I haven't opened it, and I'm not going to until we can together. So that might be in this video, actually. So the Halloween 2 might not be the first time you guys see it. We might do an unboxing in this video, just because I am dying to see what it looks like. I want to see it in person, and I really, really don't think my At Home would have ever gotten it. They are still at the same inventory level that they were at before. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it has to do with them filing bankruptcy. Obviously my store isn't one of the ones closing, but I don't know if their inventory had a shortage. I'm sure they probably laid off employees and stuff, so I don't know if warehouse is behind, or I don't really know what the deal is, but I just really, really don't feel like mine is gonna get much more Halloween. I don't know, though. I will keep checking the website. I will bring you guys back there if they do, but I'm not very hopeful. We do need to make it back to Lowe's. I'm thinking on Wednesday I should be able to do that, and they should have a full display So I'm very excited about that. Home Depot might still be another week or two, so we'll just have to keep our eye on that. So that's kind of the plan for this week. I don't think there's anything huge. I consider Home Depot to be kind of a bigger addition, and then obviously when Target gets their hide and eek in, that is kind of a bigger addition to our haunt hunting map and agenda. But those are probably not this week. So we're kind of doing some repeats and some check-ins and some sporadic small stops here and there this week. So I hope you guys are excited. I just pulled in to HomeGoods and I am very, very excited to see if there's anything new. I assume there will be. So let's get haunt hunting. The first new items to catch my attention were these LED taper candles built into a crow stand. I also spotted this bat lantern. This was really, really heavy duty and felt really sturdy. It was pretty expensive, but I guess that's probably because of how high quality it felt. I hadn't seen much for Halloween rugs at HomeGoods this year, but it looks like they're starting to get a few in. This is Lowe with Rifle Paper Co., which I love their prints. There was also a new Anna Lee, and I've never seen one like this before. It was an entire tree with tombstone and had an Anna Lee bat hanging from it. They also had some new platter-sized plates that looked a lot like the Fright Night mugs I love so much, but these said trick or treat. I may have had to get one of these. These were such cute party picks for cupcakes or some kind of dessert or treat. I thought they looked so over the garden wall and so vintage. So we moved on to Marshall's. That was kind of all we saw for new items at HomeGoods. At Marshall's, they had quite a few rugs I hadn't seen yet, some for indoors, some for outdoors, like this triple ghost rug. They had some dancing skeletons on a rug, and they also had a ghost dog being walked by a ghost. I feel like Marshall's has quite a diverse selection of sheets for beds, but I will say I feel like it's also quite hard to find king size at Marshall's and TJ Maxx. Even queen size I feel like can be kind of tricky. Next door at Target, they had this sweater that had a skull and crossbones on it. It was $35 and it was in the men's section. They also had added out some pajama pants. Plus there was this new Peanuts t-shirt that I love, but I kid you not, this is my least favorite color to wear. I hate how it looks on me. Otherwise I totally would have got this. The fall candles and scents were definitely fully stocked. And they actually had some Yankee Candle candles, including Witch's Brew, which always had been super hard to find. I used to really want to find it, and I finally got my hands on it, and I still burn it very sparingly because I usually can't find it anywhere. In the dollar section, there were a couple new items I hadn't seen last time, like these little plush dogs, cats, and bats. Plus these little witches ingredients and these small signs. A lot of this stuff, though, I believe was repeats as to what we saw before. These outdoor rugs might have been new. There were a few terracotta jack-o'-lanterns that I thought were really cute. Hello, ghouls and ghosties. It is the next day now, and I am headed towards Grand Central Station HomeGoods currently. So it seemed like yesterday when we were at my local HomeGoods, there was not a lot of new spooky stuff out. I think I showed you a couple things that seemed new, but a lot of it had not seemed to have changed. Now, as I've told you guys before, my local HomeGoods told me that Mondays were their truck days, so maybe they had just gotten a new truck in that day with some new stuff and I was just a little too early for it, but I don't really know. So we are gonna kind of take a peek at Grand Central Station HomeGoods, and if there's not a lot of new spooky stuff, then I'm a little nervous about our HomeGoods haunt hunting season and that it may be coming to a close sooner than later. I honestly don't remember from past years when HomeGoods starts to slow down. I always kind of assumed it was more like maybe September, like mid-September, so this feels a little early, but then again, HomeGoods got stuff in early this year, so I don't know. My wallet would probably be relieved, but I definitely would be pretty bummed if we are coming to a close with HomeGoods. So we'll just have to see. I don't want to be negative. The one last thing that I'm really looking for at HomeGoods is the LED ghost taper candles. They are kind of like a dupe for the Pottery Barn ones, and I actually did order 2 of the Pottery Barn ones like 2 months ago, but they are so back ordered. So I would love to find some more. Also, there's no such thing as too many ghost LED taper candles. So that's kind of the one main thing I have in mind that I'm looking for. I'm gonna be on the lookout for that. I have been looking pretty closely in all the candle sections at all the HomeGoods, and I just have not had any luck at all. So I'm gonna quick drop off some mail, as you can see here, and then we are going to go to Grand Central Station HomeGoods. We also at some point need to get to Burlington, which is a city over, but it's kind of the opposite direction of everything I need to do today, but it's also right by Spirit Halloween. So we'll see. I'm not super planned out this Tuesday. I don't really have like a list, but I do want to make more stops than just HomeGoods. So we're just gonna kind of go with the spooky flow and see where we end up today. Oh yes, and I totally forgot. I do have another mission today besides haunt hunting. I've got my spooky scissors, and yes, I will add spooky to the front of every single word as an adjective. But I have my spooky scissors, and I need to do some more clippings around some like wild fields and wildflower areas. If you guys watched the Witchy Wednesday that we had where I made a stew, where I made soup, I ended up also making a like floral arrangement, but it was like dead fall inspired floral and branches, and that's similar to the stuff I use when I do my witch living room, which is going to be my theme again. It's gonna have a different name this year, but it is gonna be a witch themed family room / living room once again. And so I do want to get some plants and branches to hang again from my beams on the ceiling. I loved that last year. That was probably my favorite part of all of my Halloween decorating. And as I told you guys last week, I want to start. Ryan's family visited this last weekend, and I kind of took it as a go-ahead once they left to begin. So that is the room I would like to start with, and so I'm gonna need those to do that. Also, by the way, here's my latest spooky tee. It's a black magic with a black cat tee. Very fitting. So I don't know if I'm gonna show anything, but I am going to be doing that, just so you guys know. Also, somebody's getting out of a car right next to me. Someone just got out of the car right next to me, and so I'm really thrown off. What was I saying? Also, I did plant my mums in my skull pots and a different pot in the front. So here's some footage of my mums that I got at Home Depot. They actually are blooming really well. I kind of felt like it was a little early for mums. They seem to be thriving, so that's really exciting. And I love having mums in my front yard. Enough chit chat, enough babbling. Now we're gonna go to Grand Central Station HomeGoods, so let's go. This large metal skeleton knight, I don't believe I've seen yet this year. Plus these witch's brooms that had all kinds of natural looking, at least, flowers on them. I didn't like the glittery handles to them, but again, the natural looking flowers at the bottom looked really good. This witch was a new one, I believe. The only issue is look at how blurry her spell book is. I think HomeGoods had been getting in some more prints as well, like this western ghost and this ghost in kind of a fancy hallway. Plus this picture frame of a gargoyle I hadn't seen before. And this cute set of salt and pepper shakers by Blue Sky. They look pretty vintage and folk. I really like them. Another new Peanuts Halloween sighting. This is a noodle bowl with chopsticks. This was really cute. It was $10. And another piece to the vintage toile printed set. This was an oil decanter with all the same graphics on it. Plus, I found another Joanna Parker that I hadn't seen yet this year, a salt and pepper shaker set of the turkey. Perfect for my Thanksgiving decor. So we actually decided to stop by Dollar Tree. By we, I mean me. And then I also stopped by Sierra. In Dollar Tree, I saw all of these fun Halloween cards. I always like to look at the Halloween cards and see all of the art on them and the fun little Halloween sayings in them. I do this at Dollar Tree if I make it, and I like to look at Target once they get theirs in. Then I was looking at the Dollar Plus section, again for those vintage inspired metal signs, but even at this Dollar Tree, I could not find a single one, which is fine because I don't honestly know if I would actually buy them, but I would like to see them in person at some point. Dollar Tree had brought back their small glass jack-o'-lantern jars though, which are so perfect for melting candles into. I used to get these all the time in college and I love them. We moved on to Sierra next, and if you don't know Sierra, it is owned by the TJX company, so they always have this small section of Halloween, and sometimes they have a few new items like this wooden Dracula piece. It was $16.99, but for the most part, you will see a lot of repeats in here from HomeGoods, from TJ's, and from Marshall's. I was hoping I'd somehow get lucky and find the LED taper ghost candles, but they in fact were not here, unfortunately. But there was this large groundbreaking skeleton, which kind of surprised me to see here. This was a really cute Peanuts kitchen towel. And otherwise, I do think it was a lot of repeats. So we moved on to Kohl's. I just randomly decided to go here. It was across the street from all these stores I had just been to. And so we might as well see what they have. I found this section first of bowls and ceramic and glass pieces. They had quite a few different mugs. Most of the stuff at Kohl's I feel like is licensed, though there's a few items that are just kind of standalone traditional Halloween. And as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of most licensed stuff, so none of this was grabbing my attention too much. These were some cute Peanuts placemats. I liked the graphic a lot to them, but they also had some jack-o'-lantern printed ones. And then they had some kitchen towels. Once again, I'd say about half of them were licensed, but there were a few items that were just standalone, like these serving skeleton arms and these haunted house kitchen towels. This black cat one gave me very vintage vibes. That was probably my favorite one here. They had some large fleece Halloween blankets as well. Some had ghosts, some had skeletons, and then again, there were a lot of licensed ones. There were Mickey Mouse and Disney, and then there were Peanuts and Nightmare Before Christmas too. Plus, they had quite a few different pajama set prints. These were probably some of my favorite items I saw here. I really liked the print on this purple pajama set. It said on the sign that these were each $40 a piece, which is a little steep, but I feel like at Kohl's you always get some kind of discount, so I'm sure you could get them cheaper. They had some more sets with dogs and cats doing Halloween activities. They also had a section that had throw pillows and baskets. Let me say it again, there was a lot of licensed stuff, but a little bit of unlicensed items like classic ghosts, jack-o'-lanterns, and bats, but we had Winnie the Pooh, Snoopy again, and of course Disney. I feel like in the past I've actually seen this raven pillow before at HomeGoods, maybe last year, and this witch one around the cauldron was pretty cool too. I guess this was their section of the most standard Halloween decor. They had wreaths and welcome signs. They had some tombstone items and some garland. They, of course, did have a couple licensed items like this giant Mickey Mouse jack-o'-lantern. And they had a large skeleton. This one was 8 feet tall. I feel like you could get an entire row of skeletons that are each 2 feet difference, like a 6, an 8, a 10, and a 12 at this point, maybe even like a 15. But they also had some inflatables and some neon signs. Nothing here really sparked my interest too much, but of course it's always good to check kind of everywhere just in case there's like that one piece that I need. We were driving home, and we were going by at home, so I thought, what the heck, why not just check? And the only new items that I did see were the inflatables. They may have actually had the inflatables last time we were here, but they definitely weren't on display. So it was cool to see all these. I always love seeing their giant black cat, and the giant skeleton dog was pretty cool too. I did also like this haunted house looking one, and all the different effects and things popping out of it. But I'm not a huge inflatable person. I'm growing away from animatronics a bit, and I'm way more into animatronics than inflatables. I don't mind when other people have them. I do like to look at them. I just don't think I would ever own them. Maybe because I didn't grow up with them, they just don't hit any kind of nostalgic nerve for me, so I just kind of stray away from them. I guess I lied. I do believe that these neon lights were new. I really liked the Vampire Fang one, and I actually kind of wanted to get it for my office, but it was $35, which I thought was a little steep. Good morning, ghouls and ghosties. It is the 20th of August today, and I am back at Lowe's, and I will guarantee you that Lowe's has their full Halloween display up. Last week we went, and they were just starting to put it out, but there were like 4 or 5 employees actively putting it up. So there's no way it's not fully up now. I am so ready to see it. I'm so ready for a new store full of Halloween. I even have a spookier bag today. This isn't one of my necessarily like Halloween bags, but this is definitely one of my spookier ones with all of these bugs all over it. We're going to Lowe's. I'm here. I don't know if I said that, but I am in the parking lot right now. And we also are going to be going to a couple HomeGoods today. I would say that my local HomeGoods looked a little worse. I feel like they didn't really get much in, but Grand Central Station HomeGoods, I feel like had a couple new items yesterday. So not all hopes are lost, but I definitely feel like the Halloween is slowing down. I still need to go back and see when that has happened in the past, but I am still dying to decorate. I did successfully get, I'm sorry that the sun is like glaring. There we go. I did actually get the plants to hang to dry yesterday. I guess I didn't film any of it. So I am getting close to ready to decorate my living room, which I will not be showing on this video. That is going to be in the actual first decorate with me video. Those you'd think I would know after so many years of doing this. I'm like, when do I usually put those up? I think I put them up one week after another, usually split into 2 parts on the last 2 weeks of September. I don't know, but it's gonna still be about a month until we actually decorate together, I believe, though in person, I'm probably gonna start decorating pretty soon here. I need to get all my stuff organized. I have a decent organization system to my decorations. I have like a bin of gothic, more like black graveyard tombstone type stuff. I have a bin of campy orange and black jack-o'-lanterns and like original traditional Halloween stuff. And then I have a bin of the white stuff like ghosts, skulls, mummies. And that's kind of usually how I have it organized, but I don't necessarily have it by like room. So I need to go through all those and dig out my witchy stuff to put in my living room. And I should really do that today. I would love to decorate today. super good news that doesn't really help you guys in any way, but I'm so excited about. This weekend, the high temperatures in Minnesota are upper 60s. The high temperatures. On Sunday, the high is 68 with low humidity. They actually said on the news, get ready for an early fall feeling. And I almost started crying. Like, I am so excited. If I don't decorate by then, I'm totally decorating this weekend because I can open the windows and let a fall feeling breeze blow in. I'm like shook. I'm so excited. Like, I'm as excited about that as I am about like many other spooky activities. Like, I cannot wait to feel a cool breeze and have it feel like fall. I've noticed a few trees. I don't have any to show you in this parking lot, but a few maple trees have the slightest bit of like ruby or like cranberry color coming into them. Not much. And it might just be from stress versus seasonal changes, but it's always a good sign, and I do love to see it. I think I'm getting more natural at this because a guy just got out of his car right next to me and I didn't really care. I'm getting better at this. Can you believe it? It's been like 5 years and I'm finally getting the hang of this. Okay, so enough babbling, Jack. Let's go into Lowe's. Oh yeah, Lowe's had totally finished setting up their entire display, and it actually looked like they had quite a good stock of a lot of their items, so here is what a lot of them sound like. Not really sure what that was supposed to be.
Enjoy your own music made by the spookiest DJ in the graveyard. Just pair your phone or device to DJ Wins, and he will spin your favorite music.
I feel like with the Lowe's ones, and maybe it's just because their volume is turned down quite a bit, but I feel like you can hear the mechanisms in them a lot more than Spirit Halloween or Home Depot animatronics.
I'm the creepiest thing you'll find in this field. Trust me, I've looked.
I will say I think the Home Depot Scarecrow is a lot more realistic and cool this year. So let's look at the other items they had at Lowe's. They had some small skeletons and they had some BarkBox dog toys. They also had dog shirts and clothing. They had some spooky tennis balls, which I always like to get for our dogs. They had these outdoor flags, which were all, I believe, licensed. There were a lot of Disney characters on them. I was tempted to get either this skeleton dog toy or the treat bucket for our Frenchie Will, but I decided not to. They also had some classic wall clings, and they actually had quite a few unique ones, like this coffin and this candelabra one. I feel like Lowe's repeats their jack-o'-lanterns a lot. Like, I feel like I've seen these for basically the past 4 years, which is something I really like about Home Depot. Each year they have different new and inventive jack-o'-lanterns, and it's always fun to take a look at what they came up with. They had some Corpse Bride animatronics in the back, and some Disney blow molds, like from the Haunted Mansion and such. They had some light-up dogs, and they had a large Mickey Mouse animatronic who did not work, unfortunately. I think he just wasn't plugged in. Again, many inflatables, and there were some blow molds, like this Peanuts blow mold of Snoopy, a Donald Duck blow mold, a Stitch blow mold, and the Casper blow mold that I know I've seen online is quite popular was sold out at this store. There was one more animatronic we hadn't seen yet, and that was the 12-foot animated immortal Nightwalker. Lowe's had these small air globes, I guess you would call them. They're kind of like water globes, but they just have a fan in them. This Beetlejuice one of the house from Beetlejuice was honestly really cool and really detailed. So for our next stop, we went over to another HomeGoods, and this one is near a Sierra, so I thought I would just stop in after to see what they had. I don't think I'd seen this metal witch on a bike before. I love the black cat in the front basket. I definitely hadn't seen this trio of Martha Stewart Halloween characters either. They're a bit childish for me. There were some new Halloween paintings, like this girl with the pearl earring, but Halloween edition. And this Kiss-inspired Mona Lisa. Of course, I had to inspect the candle section, and alas, still no taper LED ghost candles. There were some new melamine platters and bowls. This was a very large, kind of vintage-inspired art trick-or-treat bowl. And this was a large ceramic Frankenstein Mickey canister. That was all I saw for new items though, so we moved on to Sierra. In Sierra, there were kind of a lot of the same items we had seen at the last Sierra, besides this tombstone skeleton that was very loud. They had a terracotta jack-o'-lantern. I'm not sure if I've seen this one before. Okay, ghouls and ghosties, let's take a look at the fountain. Right off the bat, this is very, 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 very heavy. I don't think it says the weight, but it's heavy. Now, in case you missed me mentioning it earlier in the video, or if you haven't been here for kind of like the very small saga that has been the fountain search, at home this year had this 3-skull fountain, and I saw it pretty early in the year. I don't remember if it was on their website or if somebody posted a picture of it somewhere, but I knew as soon as I saw it, I wanted it. As you guys know, I love spooky furniture. It is like my favorite thing to see released each year and to hunt for. And I was kind of thinking to myself, what would be my dream, or at least an idea of a spooky furniture item to have a store create? And I was talking about this with Ryan, and I said some kind of fountain or bird bath or something that uses water. Now, I know Grandin Road has certain pieces, but Grandin Road has disappointed me in the past with the quality of their items. I've had a few of their items that are water installments or fountains, and they haven't held up super well. So when I saw At Home was coming out with a fountain, I got so excited. And again, if you are new here this year, I feel like each year there's like 1 or 2 items that I am super hunting out. Last year it was the spiderweb bench, and I was able to find it. Actually, here's one of them right here. And I was actually able to find not only the metal spiderweb bench, but I also did find the wooden spiderweb bench. I can't remember if it was last year as well or if it was the year before, but I was also looking for the At Home Reaper. It was like a 70-inch, it is because I do still own it. It's like a 72-inch or something Reaper, kind of grave, tombstone type statue. I would say that this year, this was the item that took the place of that situation. It wasn't as dramatic because I basically knew at all times that my At Home did not have this, and we also only have one At Home. So it was kind of like I was SOL all season so far. You may be wondering, then how was I able to get my hands on this? I got very lucky. I suddenly remembered that a couple years back, Yet another item I was super hunting out for the season, the Raven lamppost. I was never able to find at my local At Home. Notice how a lot of this is kind of a similar situation. At Home in my area just fails to get the really good large items in, or if they do, there's only one. Ryan's parents, if you do not know, are from Iowa, and they live very close to said At Home. And that At Home had one of these available. So instantly, I did a store pickup, same day, whatever you want to call it, order. It got fulfilled, and Ryan's iconic mother, Janet, my mother-in-law, was able to grab it, and she brought it up this past weekend, so I got the freaking fountain. All right, enough of a story time. I feel like a lot of you are probably like, who cares? So I'm gonna open this up and we're gonna test it out with some water in it and see how it works. I've seen very few posts about this item. I've seen no live action videos or anything of it. I haven't seen how it works or what it sounds like when the water's flowing or really what it looks like functioning. So I'm gonna open this up and we're gonna take a look at it, okay? Okay. It's the 22nd of August today, ghouls and ghosties, and though we don't have a lot of haunt hunting to do today, we do have some important stops to get done, mainly being another Spirit Halloween. So I'm going to be in a new kind of area location that we haven't really been to yet this year, and I did just check the Spirit Halloween like store locator, and there is one over here that is open right now. So hopefully they have some items we didn't see at the other Spirit Halloween. Fingers crossed. They have the Elvira tea. I, for some reason, just really want to get that this year. And besides that, I do have some groceries to pick up at Target. So I'm going to see if Threshold is possibly out, or sometimes the kind of like bathroom and kitchen and mug stuff will go out a little earlier in the year. So we're going to see if that stuff is out yet. I'm not really sure. We'll find out, I guess. Let's get going. Not a lot to do today, but I'm excited either way. Well, another Spirit Halloween, another check for the Elvira tea, and once again, they did not have it in stock. But they did have this really cool Scream hoodie. I want to get this so bad. It's $90, which is pretty steep. I will wait until there's a 20% off coupon, which unfortunately they did not have today, but hopefully they do soon. I don't think I checked the Nightmare on Elm Street section at the other Spirit we went to, so here's a look at that. And here is the Terrifier section. They have quite a few items, but as you can see, it looks like they aren't fully stocked yet. I had to have my mom try on the large Scooby-Doo mascot mask. It's pretty awesome. I also really loved the Doodle Bob costume. Doodle Bob was always annoying to me as a kid, but I think it's so funny as a costume now, and I love the Doodle Bob pencil. My pencil! The Krusty Krab hat was really cool too, and I love that they had a handsome Squidward mask, and I loved the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy costumes. There were some more Suncatcher or stained glass pieces that I hadn't seen at the other location. Plus, there were quite a few light up signs and neon lights that I hadn't seen yet. I feel like all in all, this store had way more decor than the other location, though I will say, obviously this store has now had more time to set up than that location. Again, here are some more neon lights. These ones are licensed. I love the trick or treat one. I never saw this Lantern Keeper animatronic up, even at the other store. I'm not sure if he's maybe an old one from a different year, but they did have him for sale, and then they had a huge supply of all of the other animatronics. I thought my mom should be this cheese ball container because she loves cheese balls, even though it does say something questionable on the container. This was kind of the section of funny costumes, and I always like these funnier couples costumes too. And you can be a meat ghost as well, apparently. Spirit had these cool collapsible barrels, and they show an example of giving out candy in them. I feel like that would be a lot of candy. I also really like this inflatable skeleton. I kind of thought he glowed in the dark, but it says that he just reacts to black light. And they had some door covers. This is another item that I know there's an Elvira version of, but for some reason, once again, they didn't have it at this location. There were some more ghost decor items. I think I've seen online that a lot of people have been looking for this raindrop umbrella ghost. They also had these really fun, creepy candy corn pathway lights. This was a costume I actually wore when I was a kid, which it was really funny to see again. I always would shop in a section more like this as a kid. I was never characters or licensed. I always would pick the actual kind of creepy and scary costumes. This location had Spirit Jenga, and I will say, I want this. They also had a Spirit Halloween exclusive Scrub Mommy of an evil clown. I need this as well. We stopped by Target to get a couple groceries on the way home, and they actually had added some items to the dollar section, like some Halloween rubber ducks and stress toys. They also had some glow-in-the-dark Play-Doh licensed kits. I remember these monster squish balls from when I was a kid. This is very early 2000s. They had some cute jack-o'-lantern and black glass candle holders. Plus they had these little ghost coffee magnets. These were pretty sold out unless they just hadn't got many in yet. They also had some Halloween sponges. I may have grabbed a couple of these. Target had some ice molds. They also had some spoon rests and some Halloween squishy items. The dollar section socks are always something I love to grab when the season comes around. I feel like last year they didn't have them, and I'm so happy to see them back this year. I love the Happy Halloween ones. I was testing out this spider bouncy ball, and it definitely started to get away from me. They had these spooky, fuzzy notebooks and some small plushies too. And to end on a perfect note, when we were leaving, I saw one branch on a maple tree that was changing colors. Alright, ghouls and ghosties, we have actually reached the end of this week's haunt hunt. I know this one was just a little bit shorter than the past few weeks, but that is just because HomeGoods honestly didn't have as much stuff as they usually do. That's kind of the main reason. I feel like we stopped at just as many places basically as last week and the past few weeks, and we were able to find some new locations I feel like this week, but HomeGoods is just really slowing down. I did actually go back and watch my haunt hunt from almost exactly a year ago. I think it was like the early teens or mid-teens of August 2024, and HomeGoods was slowing down then too. They were getting larger items in, like that is when I found the skull bench, so they weren't totally done, but it was definitely slowing down. So I'll still definitely have to keep stopping by and seeing if I can find anything, but I do think the HomeGoods season is kind of starting to pump the brakes, but that's okay. My wallet is going to breathe a sigh of relief. It was great to see the full Lowe's setup though. I always love when we can finally add like a full new store with all new items we haven't seen yet this year. And I think that's gonna be something we can do next week with Home Depot. I'm not certain, but I really hope so. I'm looking forward to seeing their animatronics, but I'm also really looking forward to seeing like their blow molds, their lights, and their jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins. They always knock it out of the park with those, and those I feel like are more likely to be something I buy this year than actual animatronics. Though again, I am excited to see what animatronics they have. I feel like it's a whole different experience seeing them in person versus just seeing them in a picture or in a little video clip online. I myself am very, very excited right now and today and tomorrow and for this weekend. So as I said earlier in this haunt hunt, we are starting tomorrow getting fall level weather. Sunday is going to be 68 degrees as a high and the humidity is supposed to be down. I'm like giddy with excitement, and I'm going to decorate the living room tomorrow. I actually went into my crawl space yesterday and I sorted all the different rooms. I'm gonna have a few rooms that are the same this year, obviously like altered and with new items, but I'm also gonna have a couple new themes I do think this year. So there's a couple that like kind of can't change. There's a couple I'm altering just a little, and then there's a couple that I'm trying something new. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to decorate the living room. I could open the windows. I might do like a simmer pot. I'm gonna make a soup in the cauldron maybe for lunch that day, tomorrow. And I'm gonna decorate like my favorite room to decorate, basically. One of my favorite rooms. This is the life. I'm so excited. Anyways, though, I think it's like the 5th or 6th of September. It's the first Friday in September is going to be Halloween 2. I am ready to film it, and I'll probably do that this weekend too. I haven't filmed it yet though, but like I said, I had 2 big items that I was waiting for to film in it, and that was the Pottery Barn Don't Look Behind You mirror and the fountain. As you guys saw, I do have the fountain now. If you can hear something that sounds like somebody in a bathroom, that is the fountain sitting on my deck. I haven't shown you guys the mirror yet. I'm gonna hold on to that until Halloween 2, since it's only like, what, 2 weeks away? 1 week away? It's not very long from now. So I can hear that it's starting to rain right now. So I'm gonna wrap this up really quick. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, ghouls and ghosties, thank you for keeping me company as I creep and crawl around all the different stores and find all the different spooky stuff. Let me know, as per usual, what spooky treasures you picked up this week. What was your best find? What were you on the hunt for and maybe haven't found yet? Just let me know what's going on in your spooky world. I always love to read that. And I will see you guys next week for, I believe, yet another haunt hunt. Goodbye.